Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to today's GIC talk. I'm Gwangj, a member of GIC talk. Before the talk, I'd like to ask you to please turn off your cell phone and switch them to silent mode. Today's speaker will give a speech about Indonesia, made up of the largest archipelago in the world, and also within this area 9 times the size of Korea. Also, as far as I know, Indonesia has the fourth largest population in the world. It is so huge. So this talk will be given by Ganis Santoso, a native of Indonesia, and who is currently majoring in computer engineering at Chosun University. I think it must be very interesting, and he will introduce all about Indonesia in detail. So ladies and gentlemen, please give him a thunderous applause.
Thank you for Ms. Gwangj for introducing me. My name is Ganis Zulfa Santoso from Indonesia. Annyeonghaseyo. In this opportunity, I would like to present about my country, Indonesia. But before I start my presentation, I would like to ask the audience, how much do you know about Indonesia? Can someone give something? Yeah? There are many islands. Very nice. Something else?
A lot of islands.
I'm sorry?
A lot of islands.
A lot of islands, yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Lima. Eric, do you have something to say about Indonesia? What do you know?
I was going to say many islands.
Okay. Actually, I was kind of expecting that someone will say something about India. Because in Korea, sometimes people misunderstand misunderstand Indonesia as India. I will tell you one of my experience. I met some Korean friend, and she told me that, hey Ganis, I can speak Indonesian. I can speak this, and I was like, wow, very nice. Why are you learning Indonesian? And she told me that I'm really interested in Indonesia. I really admire Mahatma Gandhi. So this kind of misunderstanding happened in Korea. And after the end of presentation, I hope you will see that Indonesia is not India. In fact, it is a very different country. Okay, I think we can start our presentation. Okay, before we visit Indonesia, we need to know where is Indonesia, right? South Korea is in East Asia, and Indonesia is in Southeast Asia. Therefore, we just need to go to the south. From the eastern part, Sumatra Island, up until western part of Papua, and also the Borneo Islands, Java, Sulawesi is Indonesia. Maybe you cannot see it here, but in Indonesia we have 17,000 islands. It is the largest archipelago in the world. Okay. Now we know where Indonesia is. We can go to Indonesia by airplane. It will take 7 hours. We will go to Jakarta. Are you ready? Yes. We will go to Indonesia now. Okay, we are in Jakarta. Jakarta is the capital city of Indonesia. It's the center of commercialization, industry, education, and also government, transportation, and education. As you can see, this is the Senate House, the airport, and also the University of Indonesia. Some of my friends in the back maybe will object me, but this is the best university in Indonesia. Okay, now move on. Okay, this is Kota Tua Jakarta. Maybe you're curious, are we in Indonesia or in Europe? But in fact, this is in Indonesia. Kota Tua means old city. In here we can learn about the history. Indonesia were colonized by the Dutch for 350 years. So the buildings were influenced by the European architecture. Okay, next one. And you can maybe in this place you can rent a bike, an old bike. We call it as hotel, and you can pretend that you are in the old ages. Okay. Now I bet you are hungry. So we will have soto Betawi. It's very delicious. It is the local food of Jakarta. It is made of beef and also potato. And don't forget, we have the hot spicy sauce in every Indonesian food. If you don't like it, you can exclude it, of course. No, not that one. Okay, this one. This one. And we can have also snapper fish or small kakap. It's very delicious also. If you don't like the spicy food, you can exclude the chilies, of course. Next. And for the snack, you will have kue putu. It is made by pandan leaves. And also the kerak telur. It is made by the duck eggs and rice. Next. Okay. In this opportunity, we will also learn about Indonesian language. In Indonesia, we call it as bahasa. Bahasa, ya. No, that one. The top one. The blue. Okay. Okay, the first one, I would like you to learn about how to greet in Indonesia. It is apa kabar? Okay, that's apa kabar. Okay. And to reply, the next group is I'm fine. It's baik. Apa kabar? Baik. And also the next one. And you can say to baik, terima kasih. Apa kabar? Baik, terima kasih. Okay. And for the next one, I would like to learn how to say help. Okay. I'm not implying that it is not safe in Korea. Sorry, in Indonesia, but it is a good word to learn. And how to say help is you can pronounce it as tolong. To make it more dramatic, you can make it a little bit longer. Tolong. Yeah, like okay. And this is the flag of Indonesia, red and white. It's easy to remember. Okay, next. Oh, this is the end of tour of Jakarta. I hope you're ready. We're going to move to another city. We're going to Magelang. It is in the central of Java. Okay. We will see a Borobudur. It is the biggest Buddha temple in Indonesia. It's a bit loud. It was built on the 9th century. And this also we can learn about the history of Indonesia in here. Indonesia before converting to Islam was Buddhist kingdom. There were Buddhist kingdom in Indonesia. And also in this Borobudur there are 504 Buddha statue in this area. And in the walls of Borobudur you will find history of Buddhism mythology, like in this case, and also this. And in the Borobudur, you can in visa or in any Hinduism rituals, you can visit them and you can see the ceremonies. Next on, we will see the batik. What I'm wearing now, it's batik. It is a traditional clothes of Indonesia. It is made by the technique is called as Gwangj, dyeing technique. Like in here, you can see the workshop. Batik is referring to the clothes. One cloth that has a pattern like this. Mainly it was the color is indigo, the main color. Indigo, brown, and gold. It also has an influence of Hindu. And this is the application of batik. We can use it as dress or as a shirt. Sometimes in other cases we can use it as cover, bag, and also the bed sheet. Oh, they are greeting on me. What to say? Oh, they reply. Baik, terima kasih. Okay, next. Okay, in this opportunity we will learn about the economy as well. By GDP, Indonesia is the 16th biggest economy in the world. South Korea is before Indonesia, so South Korea is 15th. Indonesia major exports are gas, plywood, textile and rubber, mainly these are natural resources. And our main export partners are South Korea, United States, Singapore, Europe and also Japan. And the relationship between South Korea and Indonesia were established since 1973. The trade between two nations is 15 billion. Indonesia is importing car, heavy machinery, and also just recently importing K-pop. Investment in multiple joint military, including like this, KFX or IFX fighter jet, it will finish in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Near the end of tour of Mega, we will have another flight tickets. We will go to Bali. I will have to use this because we're in Bali. Okay. Bali. Welcome to Bali, the islands of glass. Bali is predominantly by Hindu. Oh no. The Hindu. So the building, the art, the culture were highly influenced by the Hinduism. Now we will visit Tanah Lot. Tanah Lot is a Hindu temple in Bali. It is created by the ocean. Tanah Lot means land in the sea. And also in this place, if you're lucky, you can see the Hinduism rituals like this one. Okay, next one, we will visit Sanget or Monkey Forest. This is the statue of Kumbhakarna, one of the characters in Hinduism mythology. In this forest, there are a lot of monkeys. The monkeys, as you can see, they are quite friendly. Actually, and also there is a temple in this forest, and they're quite friendly, but be careful because maybe they will steal your food. Next one. See? Yes, that's right. This is a good one to learn. Next one. Oh, you are in for the treat. We will see Legong dance from Bali. Okay. Focus is in facial expression and eyes. Okay, we have to stop there because we don't have enough time. Next one, we will move to an island. This will be another interesting experience for you. We will go to Komodo Island. Have you heard about Komodo? It's the biggest lizard in the world. Okay, we will see a video again.
Meet the Komodo dragon, the largest living lizard in the world, and certainly one of the deadliest. This powerful reptile dominates the dry volcanic islands of central Indonesia, including its namesake, the island of Komodo. Growing over 10 feet in length, 350 pounds, they hunt deer, pigs, wild horses, water buffalo, anything and everything they can overpower. The Komodo is an opportunistic hunter, using camouflage and surprise to trap its prey. Rather than stalking, it lies in wait for its victims in tall grass, unmoving and unnoticed. And then it strikes, moving with lightning speed, attacking with brutal efficiency.
So this only exists in Indonesia, and if you go to Indonesia, you don't have to be afraid. They are only in one island, and they cannot swim, so you don't have to be afraid that it will show up in your home or something. Okay, next we will move on to Papua. It will be another quite experience. We will see a Centenary Festival. This is a 3-day festival. It begins in 2008. You can go. The festival is in June, every June. Yeah? There are 19 regions in Papua. So in this festival, they are sending their representatives to present their traditional dance. The end of the festival, crocodile, they capture crocodile. And you're speaking in local language. The people of Papua, other Indonesian can understand. Okay, we will go to Toraja, South Sulawesi. In here, you will see another interesting rituals of Toraja. Toraja is not the name of the city, it is the name of a tribe. Okay, hope you're not scared. This is a real corpse. His age is 100 years old. And Manene, it is called as Manene ritual. It is a Toraja word. It means contacting the ancestor. So people of Toraja believe that the ancestor is still alive among them. So in every year they will open up the coffin and clean the corpse, and also they will put on the new clothes. It is their tradition. And after that, they will put it in the coffin and put it not in the ground like usual, but they put it in the like it is in the cliff. So it's very interesting rituals, very interesting tribe. And also, I will show you the house of Toraja people. It is called as Tongkonan. It has a very unique style. It looks like a boat. It's called as Tongkonan. It's mainly it is made of woods. Okay, I bet you are hungry. We're going to have Makassar cornrow soup. It's very delicious. It is made of beef ribs. It can be spicy. And also we have barongko as snacks. It is made of banana and also banana. And okay, this one we will talk about the religion. Islam is dominant in Indonesia. And even though Islam is dominant in Indonesia, sometimes people mistaken Indonesia as Islamic country, but we are not. And this is the percentage of other religion in Indonesia. In Indonesia, religion is a must. If you don't have religion, you will go to the jail, and it's happening. So, and you cannot make fun of religion, or government like really serious about religion. Okay, that is the end of tour of Sulawesi. Now we will move to next island, Borneo Island. We are going to Samarinda in East Kalimantan of Borneo Island. We are going to visit Tanjung Piting National Park. This is like a paradise for wildlife. You can take a boat and you can explore the national park. You will see orangutan, one of the most endangered species in the world. Okay, this one is the males of orangutan. They have a very distinctive cheek. Next one, you can also see proboscis monkey. It has a very distinctive long nose. And also you can see gibbons. Okay, that's very beautiful animal. You can see these animals in their natural habitat. And I would like to talk about the Indonesian climate. Indonesia is located in equator line. It means Indonesia has only two seasons, monsoon and dry season. In monsoon season, 2 out of 3 days will be rainy, while in dry season it is 1 out of 6 days. And throughout the year, from January to December, the temperature average of all Indonesia is between 23 to 28, so it's fairly warm. But for Jakarta, the temperature is around 24 to 33. This is common in big cities. Okay, that's the end of tour of Kalimantan. We'll have to go to another place. We'll have to go to Belitung Islands and Banda Aceh. We'll go at once this time. It is in Sumatra. We'll just go to Belitung Islands first. Okay, this is Belitung Islands. This is a very beautiful place. I'm not gonna do the talking. I'm gonna stop now. I'm not gonna talking. Let the image do the talking. Okay. It's very beautiful. It's like a paradise. Okay, in the Belitung Islands, you can do scuba diving, you can rent a boat and go to one isolated island. Okay, in Sumatra, you can find a very rare flower. It's very big, it is the largest, the biggest flower in the world. The diameter is about 1 meter. So it will be like this. It's very big, and they have a very distinctive smell. People call it in Indonesia, we call it as corpse flower. It's very smelly. It's only in Indonesia. The previous one, and the other one is Titanarum. Even though it is look bigger than the previous one, this is actually not the biggest flower. This is, they call it as the biggest unbranched cluster of flowers. And the size from the bottom to the top is about 3 meters. And it exists also only in Indonesia, exactly in Sumatra, only in Sumatra Island. So it's very rare. I'm expecting it's a little bit louder. I hope you're surprised. This is Sumatran tiger. This is one of the most endangered species also. In the whole world, we have only 500 animals. So it's very less, very rare. Okay, for the size itself, it's not very big. It's actually the length is the maximum is about 2.2 meters. It's not as big as another tiger, like Siberian and Bengal tiger. They have like 3 meters. That's very beautiful. Move on. Okay, this is the Rahman Raya mouse at Banda Aceh. This one is not the biggest mouse in Indonesia. The biggest one is in Jakarta, but this one has the cultural value because in Banda Aceh is very dominant. Islam is very dominant. People know that. Like I said previously, people think that Indonesia is an Islamic country, but it is not. But in Banda Aceh, it is an Islamic province, we can say that, because the rules and the laws of Islam is applied in here. Okay, we move on. Now we will see another dance from Aceh. It's called as Sama dance. It's also very unique and very different from the previous one. It's very beautiful also. You can see. Okay, again we cannot see the whole, but we're interested in that dance. As the dance is also quite different, very different from the previous one because it's influenced by the Islamic culture and art. Also, it is another fact about Indonesia. Just in case I haven't covered it. The first one is Indonesia. We have 300 ethnic groups, so it's very big. It's from one to another, it's very different, as you can see in this order. And also, we have 250 local languages, and this is not accents. This is very different from one to another. And as previous one in Aceh, and also in the clips that I showed you, and they are using local language, and I don't understand a single word, so it's very different. And also, we have 17,508 islands, the biggest archipelago. we have presidential system. So we have president, we have senate house, it's like in Korea. And we are using Latin alphabet. People sometimes think that Indonesia is using some kind of Sanskrit or something, but we are not. We are using A, B, C. Maybe it is due to the Dutch colonization. Okay, next one. Okay, matter of fact is Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world. We have 240 million people. It's very good. And also we are the 15th largest country. And our Independence Day is August 17, 1945. So it's near to Korea, right? So it's August 15. Okay, next one. Okay, that's the end of tour of Sumatra. Oh, no. So, next. No. Okay, I think we have to go back home to Gwangj. we'll go to Jakarta first, and then go to Jeon, and then go to Gwangj. I hope in this presentation it will give you a deep and good impression about Indonesia, and I hope it clears out every misconception about Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Now it's time for the Q&A portion of the talk. If you didn't receive a piece of paper when you came in, please raise your hand and one of our volunteers can give you one. Please write your questions on the paper and then hand them back to the volunteers. I will ask the questions to the speaker. So lots of questions. Thank you for such an interesting presentation. So let's start with the. So we have a couple of questions about the remnants of Dutch colonization. So you mentioned the architecture and the persistence of the Latin alphabet. What other effects are still in Indonesia from Dutch colonization, and do any Dutch customs remain, such as food or celebrations?
Oh yeah, there is a celebration I can think of. It's in the Independence Day of Indonesia. Sometimes we do think as called as Panjat Pinang. So it is actually the attraction for the Dutch people. Yeah. The Panjat Pinang, Panjat Pinang is actually a tree, and the Indonesian people will climb the tree and take prize in the top of the tree in the Independence Day. And it's actually from the Dutch government. So it is one of the, as you can say, the persistence of the Dutch culture in Indonesia.
We have a couple of questions also about the Indonesian language family, or the Indonesian language. So we have language families such as English is related to German and Dutch, things like that. Is the Indonesian language related to other languages? Is it part of a larger language family?
Actually, Indonesia is part of Malay language.
Okay.
So I don't know where Malay is from where, but as far as I know, Indonesia is from Malay.
Okay. And some consider the Indonesian language to be one of the most difficult to learn in the world. What do you think makes Indonesian so hard?
I don't agree. It is very easy. No, I'm telling you the truth. The grammar is that simple. We don't have past tense, we don't have future tense, we don't have countable and uncountable units. It's very easy. The verb is not changing the form. It's very easy. Maybe you will find trouble in the pronunciation because the word in Indonesia is quite long. Because in English, maybe you will say 1 or 2 syllables. In Indonesia, for one word, it can be like 4 or 5 syllables. Like terima kasih. In Indonesia, you can just say, in English, you say thanks. But in Indonesia, you have to say terima kasih. It's very long. But the grammar is very easy.
So you mentioned the several times how big the archipelago is and the distinct number of different ethnic groups. So due to the dispersed geography and different ethnic groups, does Indonesia experience many separatist movements? How much do Indonesians feel a sense of national togetherness?
Yes, there was and there is separatism activity. For example, in Aceh, some people would like to separate it from Indonesia. It is called as Free Aceh Movement, but it has been resolved. So with Indonesian government and Free Aceh Movement, we have made a peace in 2005, and also in Papua, in West Papua, we have also separatism activity. It's called as Free Papua Organization or movement. The details. Up until now, the activity is still going on. So yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Aceh, I believe that's the province you mentioned that adheres to Islamic law. We have several questions about the system of governance in Indonesia. So can you briefly explain the system of government where one province can decide to adhere to Islamic law? All you mentioned was that it's a presidential system. Can you tell us a little bit more about Indonesian government? Or is that too big?
I will try because as far as I know, in Indonesia we have 33 provinces. 5 of them, like in Bali, Aceh, and Yogyakarta, Jakarta, and another one is okay, only 4 minutes. They have more authority to conduct their governmentship because they have like historical value. Like in Yogyakarta, up until now, they still have kingdom. It is like a kingdom. So they have a king and also the queen. So it's very interesting. From one to another, you will experience something new.
One other related question about Indonesian government is, when did Indonesia become democratic? And what's the state of democracy in Indonesia today?
Since our independence, we are a democratic country. But actually, after our first president is Sukarno, and after that is Suharto. Maybe you have heard. Suharto was democratic because he became a president for 32 years. So it's a little bit like auto president. And after that, I can say that we have one of the most democratic country in the world because it's very free. The freedom is very high in Indonesia. We can insult the president, whatever you want to say. Yeah, it's very good. During the Suharto time, if you insult the president, some people say it as Petrus, or penembak misterius. In English is mysterious sniper. So if you like make a rebellious action, someday somewhere someone will shoot you, and you don't know. But these days it's very democratic. So if you make any rebellious statement, not rebellious, but any insult or something to the president, it's still okay.
Now, so you just told us that making critical statements about the government is okay, but you did mention that making fun of religion is against the law. Especially for Westerners, there's a strong sense of freedom of speech and being able to criticize everything. How do you personally feel about having a law in place that restricts making fun of religion?
Yeah, it's very sensitive issue in Indonesia. Because religion, since our foundation of the national, it has been included as one of the most important aspect in our life. So that's why it is in Indonesia we cannot make fun of another religion. And for my personal, for my feeling, I think it's a good law because it's very sensitive issue. For me, if someone make fun of my religion, I will be a little bit angry.
Staying on you personally for a second, can you tell us a little more about yourself? How long have you been in Korea, and how did you find your way to Gwangj specifically?
Okay, I have been in Korea for 1 year. I found out about Gwangj because I applied for the master scholarship in Chosun University. My friend told me about the one professor is looking for a student, so I applied for the scholarship, and therefore I'm here.
And how is your Korean language?
조금이에요.
나도. So moving back to questions about Indonesia, I'll wrap up with a few more. So going back to religion, you mentioned that there's Hinduism in Bali.
Yeah.
How did Hinduism come to Bali specifically? And can you talk about how you said there was a history of Buddhism in the country, but now it's predominantly Muslim. Can you tell us how and when the Islamification came about?
Buddhism, if I'm not mistaken, came around 8th centuries by the missionaries, and after that Hinduism came up about 14th, if I'm not mistaken, 14th centuries, and after that I know about Islam come about 17th or 16th, 17th centuries, and they came by the traders. There's a lot of traders came to Indonesia, and because Indonesia is between the two oceans, Pacific and India, so it is a very strategic place. That's why there were a lot of traders from Arabic country. So in that opportunity, they spread the religion.
Okay. I'm about to ask the final question for today. If we didn't get a chance to answer your question, please feel free to ask the speaker directly after the talk. So another opinion question to end. In your opinion, is there anything that you think Indonesia does best in the world?
I think we best in I can say it's very difficult to measure, but previously if we take Olympic event, Indonesia was very good in badminton, but recently we have quite a decline. So hopefully the next time we will get a badminton medals again.
All right. So that's the end of the Q&A portion of the talk. We'd like to thank the speaker again for answering our questions. So let's give him one more round of applause.